Bryan Singer, the director of movies like The Usual Suspects, The X-Men, and a man who played a major role in directing this year's hit movie Bohemian Rhapsody, is facing new allegations published in The Atlantic this morning. In the article, 4 new accusers come forward and claim that Singer had inappropriate contact with them, and all while they were underage. All of this coming just a day after Bohemian Rhapsody was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Joining me now from our news desk in Los Angeles is Steve Wilkes, one of our ET News Desk producers. Steve, we were all reading through this article. It's a lengthy article this morning coming from The Atlantic. The Atlantic saying they spent about a year digging into Bryan Singer's career, his times on set, his work with extras, with actors, his social life, so much more. And what they ended up finding is several men who are now accusing Singer of past, in some cases rape, in some cases sexual assault. So I just wanted to start with one of the statements from The Atlantic, or rather a sentence from The Atlantic article, to get everybody on the same page here. So in the article, just one quote, but some of the alleged victims say they were seduced by the director while underage. Others say they were raped. This is 4 men alleging that they had these sexual encounters when they were teenagers years ago. Now, also from the Atlantic article, quote, when asked for comment, Singer's lawyer, Andrew B. Bretler, noted that Singer has never been arrested or charged with any crime, and that Singer categorically denies ever having sex with or a preference for underage men. Now, Steve, I know that you've been doing some work this morning reaching out to Singer, to his publicist, to his lawyers. What have you heard from them, if anything?
Yeah, when I did reach out this morning, his publicist did get back to me with a statement saying that the last time I posted about this subject, Esquire magazine was preparing to publish an article written by a homophobic journalist who has a bizarre obsession with me dating back to 1997. After careful fact-checking and in consideration of the lack of credible sources, Esquire chose not to publish this piece of vendetta journalism. That didn't stop this writer from selling it to The Atlantic. It's sad that The Atlantic would stoop to this low standard of journalistic integrity. Again, I'm forced to reiterate that this story rehashes claims of bogus lawsuits filed by a disreputable cast of individuals willing to lie for money and or attention. And it's no surprise that with Bohemian Rhapsody being an award-winning hit, this homophobic smear piece has been conveniently timed to take advantage of its success.
And I want to clarify, that is a statement that you got from Singer's team, and that he also then posted to Instagram. So it's interesting because back in October, we know that Singer posted on Instagram, and he, like he's referencing there, took aim at this apparent article that Esquire might have been publishing at the time, an expose that was in the works. And back then, he said that it was intended to, quote, tarnish his longstanding career. He said, incidentally, this article has been conveniently timed with the release of my film, Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm immensely proud of this film and everyone involved. And so this is back in October. He's going after, apparently, according to him, what was an article in the works at Esquire. And now what he and his team are saying this morning after this piece has come out in The Atlantic is that this was the same article, that's according to Singer and his team, but instead of the writer taking it to Esquire, it's wound up finding its way to The Atlantic. So we're going to dig into that. That's all coming from them, and find out if The Atlantic kind of agrees with that version of events or not. We will look into that more. And Steve, it's interesting, too, because like we said, according to Singer, that timed with the release. Now, this Atlantic article is coming out just the day after Oscar nominations. Do we know, or I guess, I want to look into this, and I don't want to put you on the spot without you knowing, but look, Bryan Singer wasn't at the Golden Globes. The movie won. Can you remind me what the history was of him being taken off of that film?
Yes, so kind of going back through all of our coverage that we've done on this, when Bohemian Rhapsody was in production, we actually got a statement on December 1st of 2017 from 20th Century Fox saying 20th Century Fox has temporarily halted production on Bohemian Rhapsody due to unexpected unavailability of Bryan Singer. Now, just a couple days later, on December 4th, 2017, 20th Century Fox spokesperson told us that Bryan Singer is no longer the director of Bohemian Rhapsody. And just 2 days later, we were able to confirm that Dexter Fletcher had been hired as their new director for Bohemian Rhapsody, and the production was going to pick back up the following week.
And that was almost at the end of production, from what I remember, right? I mean, he'd really taken this movie almost all the way to the finish line.
It was just a couple weeks left of production that was left before he got let go.
Right, and so now, I mean, even though he basically directed almost the entire movie, and the movie wins at the Golden Globes, he's not at the Golden Globes. He's not only not taking the stage, but not there at all. He did take to Instagram and post after the Globes, though. I think he posted a director's chair with his name on it saying thank you to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. And
it's actually interesting that you say that, because I don't want to assume, but I believe with, union regulations, he had directed, X amount of weeks for that project. So that's why he's still listed as the director for Bohemian Rhapsody. And he's, on there with all those awards that are coming out.
So does that mean he gets the award? I mean, is he listed for the Oscars, and will he get an Oscar if the movie wins?
Like I said, I don't want to fully speculate because I don't know the rules all the way through, but I would assume if he's been on all the lists credited as director for Bohemian Rhapsody, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still going to be on there for the Oscars. But if he shows up, that's a whole nother question. I highly doubt he would be at the Oscars.
Right. I mean, considering he was let go of the project at the end, I can't imagine him sitting at the table with everybody.
Yes.
And we're actually also hearing from the first time from the movie star Rami Malek about this Bryan Singer situation. The Los Angeles Times got a statement from him. He said, quote, "I didn't know much about Bryan. I think that the allegations and things were, believe it or not, honestly, something I was not aware of. And that is what it is." So, like we said, the Atlantic article coming out today, and it's a lengthy piece with a lot of really bombshell accusations. Again, Bryan Singer and his team denying these. But what Rami is also referring to is, allegations from before that, because what Singer ended up being accused of before this Atlantic article came out was the situation with Cesar Sanchez Guzman, right? What do we know about what happened there?
So though that all that took place back in 2017, there was a lawsuit filed by him, and the lawsuit alleged that Cesar Sanchez Guzman, according to his lawyer, claimed that he was 17 years old at the time when he was raped by Bryan Singer. Guzman alleged that he was invited to a party on a yacht in the summer of 2003, where he met Singer, who offered to give him a tour of the boat, which sailed Lake Union up in Lake Washington. And the lawsuit alleges that the party was hosted, for not just him, but for, among other, young gay males in the Seattle area, and claims that alcohol was provided during the party as well.
Right. A lot of, and honestly, very similar allegations in the Atlantic article. Men saying that they partied with Singer and his associates when they were younger, that alcohol was part of these parties, and that it was kind of this whole lifestyle. Singer did deny the allegations by Sanchez Guzman as well. He told us at the time, Bryan categorically denies these allegations and will vehemently defend this lawsuit to the very end. So, denying the allegations already in the Atlantic piece today. And I know that you read it through that with us, Steve, but I just want to close on, it's interesting to me, his statement, because what he does in denying these allegations is calls the journalist homophobic. He says, Esquire magazine was preparing to publish an article written by a homophobic journalist who has a bizarre obsession with me dating back to 1997. It's sad that the Atlantic would stoop to this low standard of journalistic integrity. Again, I am forced to reiterate that this story rehashes claims from bogus lawsuits. So denying it all, but several more men coming forward with accusations against Bryan Singer. It'll be interesting to see what happens as award season moves forward. Yeah. We have the SAG Awards on Sunday, where I'm sure this will be a topic of conversation, and that the cast of Bohemian Rhapsody and producers will be asked about it. Okay, Steve, thank you so much.
Thanks, Lauren.